2020 has been a crazy year overall, and not only in terms of pandemic, but also in terms of options trading. While being quarantined, a lot of people got into options trading, which is an amazing thing. That's why I wanted to cover in this video how much capital should you start with when you start trading options. And if at any point you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video. That really be the best support you can give me. And if you're very new to options, I have a very good news for you. You actually need less capital than what you needed before. And the reason for that is that the commissions and the barrier of entry has actually lowered a lot over the recent years. With all the new brokers and the commission-free brokers, it has been the war of who had the lowest commissions. And that is very good for all the option traders and all the retail investors like us, because it's been the war between brokers to really lower the commissions, and that can only be good for the option traders. Even though you still have some commissions when trading options, it's nowhere near what you had to pay several years ago when you were willing to trade options. The question is, with those commissions getting cheaper and cheaper over the years, what is the minimum that we should start with when trading options? And the good news is, with the commissions getting cheaper and cheaper, you can really start small, as much as few $100s in your trading account. And of course, few $100s can represent a lot, and it's true that it's a lot of money, but in terms of capital when trading, few $100s is something that is considered as small. But what I want you to understand with my video is that it's not because you don't have a minimum deposit when you want to start trading options that you should start trading options with a few $100s. And let me explain why. When you start trading options, regardless if you buy or sell options, it's gonna be rare if you can manage to have losses that are less than, let's say, $50 or $60. Meaning that at a minimum, when you lose, you are in general going to lose $50 or $60. What does that imply is that if you were starting with a capital of $500, if you were having one loss of $50, for example, that would mean a 10% loss on your capital, which is huge. That's why I was saying that starting with few hundreds might not be the best, because if you're not lucky, let's imagine that the market was tanking, well, you could actually lose the whole capital that you put in just because of bad luck. That's why if I had to say a minimum capital that you should actually put in your trading account, and that's really only my opinion, you don't have to follow it, that's only a rule that I apply to myself that I'm willing to share with you, I would say that a minimum would be around $2,000. And with the $2,000 at a minimum, you are able to have few losses without necessarily putting your account in too much danger. And as I said, when you're trading options, whether you're buying or selling options, it's gonna be rare if you lose less than $50 per trade. In general, the losses are gonna be at minimum $50 per trade. So if you have some losses with a $2,000 account at a minimum, you still have room to come back. And even if you don't have bad luck and you manage a bit your trades, you still have room to place trades and get over that losses. But once again, what I say in terms of $2,000 minimum deposit, that's only a rule that I apply to myself, meaning that if I had to say a minimum deposit, I would say around $2,000, but you should really look at your finances first and see what is an amount of money that you can afford to lose without putting yourself too much in danger. Meaning that if you cannot afford losing $2,000 and those $2,000 you really need them, it's maybe better to save money before starting options. And really, options are not going to go away, and if you don't have enough money, I really strongly suggest you that it's better to wait on the sideline, save more money, and once you have more capital, being able to trade options properly. Because it's better to start trading options properly rather than rushing things with a few $100s, start placing some bad trades, and then you get out of it because your account just blew up. Because you need to understand that options trading is heavily relying on probabilities. And because it's relying on probabilities, you really need to have a lot of occurrences so the probabilities can manifest themselves. For example, if you were trading a coin and let's say that you were doing head or tails, if you were doing only 5 trials and let's say that you have five heads, you couldn't say that, for example, the coin was tricked. You would need to do that a lot of times so as to see a 50-50 probability. And that's the same with options trading. You could definitely have losses after losses just because of bad luck, just because the market tanked, and that has nothing to do with you. But if you have a small capital, you are much more dangerous than someone with a bigger capital that can afford those losses. And of course, if you want to start with more capital, you're definitely free to do so. I'm not gonna say anything against it, but it's really about knowing yourself, knowing your finances, and knowing what you can put into a trading account without putting your financial life in too much danger. And I hope this short video helps some of you to understand what is the minimum deposit that you should maybe aim for. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to join my Facebook group. The link will be in the description. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to comment them below. I'll happily answer them. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best and see you in the next video.